Hello Stratters, Nick here, playing another match of Modern with Esper midrange. So this hand doesn't look very good. 5 lands. I mean, Fatal Push is a good removal spell. Lilianna is, I guess, pretty good in most matchups. So I'm going to keep this. It's one of those kind of borderline keeps. So I think I'm just going to play Hallowed Fountain tapped. And then probably play Darkslick Shores. Okay, so Steam Vents into Wooded Foothills. So not exactly sure what the opponent's up to. Whatever they fetch off of this Wooded Foothills might give us a little bit better of an idea. So another Steam Vents. So this could be, I mean, if it were Storm, I feel like it would almost certainly be casting some cantrips. And it might be some sort of blue-red control-ish deck. So if that's the case, I think I want to cast Lingering Souls instead of the other options. I mean, Lilianna would be better, but if they have a counter spell, I'd rather them use it on the Lingering Souls. Okay, so first spell they've cast is a Serum Visions. So it could be just Storm with a really slow draw, although I don't think Storm typically plays Desolate Lighthouse. And another option here, so if the opponent has Remand, I'd rather cast this Lingering Souls from hand. I think I'm also going to cast it just because he used 3 mana, lets us play the Shambling Vent tapped, and just use the mana that we're going to have available to us the most efficiently. Nothing on end step. A Delver, okay, so this is apparently a Delver deck. Let's just attack with all of the spirits. It's a very slow hand for a Delver deck. Okay, so if they fire off a bolt, maybe a Snapcaster bolt. Okay, so I think I want to keep the Vault of the Archangel kind of hidden for the moment. And flashback all these Lingering Souls. So the opponent is going to have to chew through a lot of spirits this game. Yeah, so this is just... Lingering Souls for some decks is just too hard to deal with, and we see that here. Alright, so it looks to be a Delver deck. And so they're probably aggressive enough. I don't want Thoughtseize. Could see maybe wanting an Engineered Explosives to help in killing Delvers, or some counter magic, probably Countersqual, and then I'm always worried against decks like this if they have Blood Moon. So I think I'm going to bring in Fragmentize just to have an out to that. And I prefer Fragmentize over Disenchant because Disenchant can get dispelled and it can also get spell snared, whereas Fragmentize doesn't have that issue. It's a sorcery and it costs 1 mana. As far as these other cards, so we saw Lingering Souls was good that game. Lilianna can be weak if they're playing Young Pyromancer, but can be alright if they're playing a card like Thing in the Ice or Bedlam Reveler. I think the play that Young Pyromancer has seen, this doesn't have removal, but it's got some cards it can play. It has a late game. They don't have a turn 1 Delver, so I think we'll be okay that we did keep this hand. Let's play this tapped. Anyways, as I was saying, Young Pyromancer, I think its play has gone down a bit since Gitaxian Probe was banned, just because it was such a good tempo play to be able to play, Pyromancer, immediately Gitaxian Probe and get your token. Now that option just isn't available. So I'm going to play this and fetch out a swamp. So I am a little bit afraid of the opponent just Mountain Blood Moon. So this will at least give us a swamp to work with. And if they do that, and we have this Dark Confidant in play, then we'll at least be able to also draw some cards off the Dark Confidant. So what do you got for us? Darkslick Shores, we'll just play one of those. And attack with the Dark Confidant. It's also nice that our 2 4-drops are in hand, so we don't have to worry about flipping those with the Confidant. Okay, and they just trade. Go ahead and run out of Lingering Souls just to use my mana the most efficiently. And it looks like the opponent might have responses here. So it's like Remand, Negate, Mana Leak. Mana Leak. Not pay for that. And Tormod's Crypt. That, I don't think that's the way to fight against the Lingering Souls. So you had to Mana Leak the first half of it, and then Tormod's Crypt to get the second half of it. That's not exactly what I'd want. So I'm going to play out both of my Glorybound Initiates, and really hope the opponent doesn't have an Electrolyze. Electrolyze would be absolutely backbreaking. That said, we do want to play these when we want the opponent to interact with them in some way so that we can Ojutai's command and get them back to give us a good mode to use on our Ojutai's command. Yep, that happens. And run out the other one. I guess one of the issues with Fragmentize is that if they do slam a Blood Moon, it's not like a Disenchant where I can float white mana and then disenchant the Blood Moon. Fragmentize, you do have to have your planes. So if the opponent wants to trade, I will not oblige that. I will leave the Snapcaster go through. Then probably, I don't know if I exert with this attack. If I, on my next attack, I guess I'll think about that more when the time comes. So the opponent is in the tank a little bit. They come out and they leave their Snapcaster back. I like this Marsh Flats draw because this will let me fetch out my planes. So I'm guessing the opponent has a removal spell here, so they want me to attack and exert to attack past the Snapcaster Mage. It happens. So they didn't want to trade on the attack, and they... Okay, Cryptic Command. Sure, that's fine. Just play it back out, I guess. Plays a Delver. And I'm gonna attack and exert the Glorybound Initiate again. See, when this is happening, this card feels really good, but I don't know if that's typical. I'm gonna pause on the upkeep in case the opponent reveals something. They don't. Okay, so they almost certainly drew that island. Yeah, I'm gonna kill the Delver. Okay, they negate. Sure. And then... yeah, I'll let this happen, and then I'm gonna Ojutai's command back my Glorybound Initiate that's in the graveyard. Draw a card. Turn that. And then I'm gonna be able to exert them kind of on alternating turns. Cool. Yeah, the opponent's really flooded out. Yeah, so that was maybe not the best match in terms of the opponent was kind of flooded this second game. But I mean, you saw all the pieces coming together. You know, trading off some of these Glorybound Initiates, getting them back with the Ojutai's command. How the lifelink off of the Glorybound Initiate and life gain off of Ojutai's command can buy you some life to go with your Dark Confidants. So I think you really did see all the pieces come together in that particular match. So yeah, I think this is actually a pretty fine deck to play in Modern right now. I mean, it plays a lot of good cards. I mean, the only kind of suspect card in the deck is maybe these Glorybound Initiates and the Ojutai's command, but I mean, you can't deny the synergy that's there. Jace is maybe fragile, but is a really good card and is especially good when you have ways to buy it back, like you do with the Ojutai's command. Obviously Lingering Souls, Lilianna, Dark Confidant, all the discard, Fatal Push Path. I mean, we know that these are all good cards. So this Glorybound Initiate actually slots in really well in this deck, and works well with the Ojutai's command. The Esper colors have a ton of customizability with the sideboard, so yeah, I thought this deck was actually pretty impressive. This is maybe something I'd try out at like an F&M, and if I feel good about it there, maybe something to take to a Grand Prix even, I don't know. But hopefully you enjoyed watching this series of matches with this kind of Esper mid-rangey deck, or as I like to call it, Esper good 2's. Plays a lot of, I guess, good 2-drops. I would include Glorybound Initiate into that, actually. So again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you a little bit later, probably next week, doing a little bit more Modern. So thanks for watching, Stratters.